As was alluded to in the last video, we are going to use our knowledge of perfect square trinomials to do what we call completing the square, or complete the square. The first thing we want to do is make sure that we have an x squared term and not a 2x squared, we want our a value to be 1. Okay? Just be a single x squared, because otherwise this doesn't work too well. You can do it, but it doesn't work too well. So both these examples are both in that form. Next thing we want to do is we want to write this as a perfect square trinomial. So the first thing we're going to do is isolate the variable terms. So I'm going to write this as x squared plus 10x plus something, so that it's a perfect square trinomial. And this is going to be negative 23. I'm subtracting 23 from both sides. Okay, and whatever I add on the left side, I'm also going to add onto the right side. Now, what would make that a perfect square trinomial? Well, we discussed in that last video that if you take that middle number and divide it by 2 and then square it, that'll work. So if you take 10 divided by 2, you get 5, and you square it, you get 25. So we are going to add 25 to both sides. So this is equals 2. Well, on the left-hand side, that will factor as a perfect square trinomial. That will be x plus 5 squared. It's not a coincidence that that number 5 is half of that 10. Now we can take the square root of both sides and apply our solving by square roots method to this to get x plus 5 equals plus or minus root 2. Last thing we need to do is subtract 5 from both sides so that this is x equals negative 5 plus or minus root 2. Now remember, there are two solutions wrapped up in there, the plus and the minus square root of 2. All right, let's move on to our next example. I need my variables, all my variables on one side, so I'm going to rearrange this pretty heavily. It's going to be x squared minus 12x. Okay, I'm subtracting that to this side, and I'm also going to subtract 2 from both sides, so that this is going to be equals, let's leave a blank here, equals negative 2 plus something. Now, determining what would make this a perfect square trinomial, again, we can take negative 12 and divide it by 2. That would be negative 6. Square that, to be positive 36. We're always going to add something to both sides. So plus 36. The left-hand side will factor as x minus 6 squared. Factoring is a very useful concept. And on the right-hand side, we have 34. Next, we'll take the square root of both sides, so that we get x minus 6 equals plus or minus square root of 34. Last, we will add 6 to both sides, so that our two solutions, come out as in the form x equals 6 plus or minus square root of 34. Again, there are two solutions wrapped up in there, so keep that in mind. And the method we just used can actually be shown to prove the quadratic formula, which is the next objective we're going to tackle.